And there are a number of document request responses starting on page 2 of Exhibit 9. Is that correct?
Yes.
And specifically, item number 1 sought all documents reflecting correspondence and communication between the state and George Best regarding the initiation of the original petition to remove Paul Harper.
Yes.
And you responded, or you on behalf of the state responded that there are no items responsive to that request?
Yes, I searched my file and I saw no records of correspondence between myself and Mr. Best. And I believe he produced an email between himself and me, and that was not an email I had in my file.
Why didn't you have it in your file?
My file consisted of notes in preparation of the initial hearing. So I had notes concerning my conversations with Mr. Best and with Mr. Reynolds, and in preparation of Mr. Harper's testimony, but that's what my file consisted of. So there may have been an instance where when I met with Mr. Best, I may have written down questions or items that I wanted him to cover with me. And so what he produced may have been an email response. I don't know. I don't recall it. It wasn't in my file.
Do you recall communicating with Mr. Best via email?
I do not.
You recognize, though, after the deposition this morning that you did, in fact, communicate with Mr. Best via email?
It looks that way, or at least he sent that email to me, it looks like.
And you sent some emails to him, correct?
I don't recall that, so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
If he produced emails this morning that came from you to him,
it's possible, yes.
would you have any reason to dispute that you did email him?
I don't know. I just don't recall.
Okay.
I'd like to turn to the documents that you brought me today that have been marked as deposition Exhibit 7. Do you have a copy in front of you?
Did you add the copy today? Did you add
Thank you.
Mary, can I have one of those copies? I think I made 4 copies of the 2 pages that you...
Yes.
The first page on the top says text messages to from Andy Lucas.
Yes.
Are these text messages that you had on your phone?
Yes.
What's the date on these text messages?
I don't know.
It's talking about the first thing that Andy says is bad news from the Supreme Court. So I would assume that it would at least be following the Supreme Court opinion?
Yes. But I believe so, yes.
You asked, so what happens now?
Yes.
And what did Andy say?
Back to trial court to determine his fees and sanctions.
And just to be clear, when we say Andy Lucas, we mean County Attorney Andy Lucas.
Yes.
Did Mr. Lucas regularly keep you informed via text message?
If we communicated, it was either by phone or text. Generally speaking, I would say text.
Or email?
Or email, but I don't know if I even had any emails from him. I would say text or phone.
And I'm landing on the first document that appears to be an email. At the top, it says in bold, file-harper.doc. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Is this an email that you wrote to Andy Lucas?
Yes.
And what date was this email?
October 18th, 2014.
And what was the purpose for sending this email to Mr. Lucas?
I believe this would have been about the time that we were getting ready for that hearing that was in this other document.
So at this time in October of 2014, you and Mr. Lucas were communicating about strategy on the grounds for the suspension hearing?
I was communicating with him, yes,